Okay. On 1 through 3, it says to find the slope of the line that is graphed or passes through the given points. Remember, slope is just the change in y over the change in x, delta y over delta x. So for number 1, there's two ways, well, there's several ways you can do it. You can use the slope formula, but we talked about looking at the change. So if you want to, you can stack the 2 points by putting them in a table. Remember that the x values go in the x column and the y values go in the y column. And then you can look and see how the x values and the y values are changing. So to get from 3 to 8, you have to add 5. And to get from a -4 to a +6, you have to add 10. Now, if you're not sure how to get that, remember we talked about taking the bottom number and subtracting the top number to get that change. So it's a +10. Now the other way to get those numbers is to do the same thing but do it up here. So to go from 6 to -4, when you go that way, you go down 10. And when you go from 8 to 3, you go down 5. Now either way, if you do 10 over 5, or you do -10 over -5, it's still going to come out with the same answer. So your change in y over your change in x is 10 over 5, which reduces. Make sure, I know several of you on your quiz the other day, you didn't reduce your fraction. Make sure you reduce it always. Just plug it in your calculator, hit enter, and if it gives you a different number, that's the number you put. If it gives you a decimal, hit math, enter, and enter that fraction. If it gives you an error, that means it's undefined. The slope, that's a vertical line, and the slope of a vertical line is undefined. But you have a calculator, plug it in. It's not going to take you very long to do, just to double check your math. Okay, so for number 1, the slope of the line is 2. And even if we did this one, did it with the negatives, oops, the change in y over the change in x, we would get -10 over -5, which is still +2. So either doing it this way, or even using the slope formula is still going to give you the same answer. Make sure it is reduced. Do not put it over 1. Make sure this is a whole number, so make sure you write it that way. All right, for number 2, they give you 2 points. Now, if you prefer this method that we did here, you can write the coordinates of the 2 points down. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, -5, 0. This is -1, 2. And you can do the exact same thing that we did here. But most prefer just to rise and run. When you're finding the slope on a graph, it's rise over run. So we go, when you look at your 2 points, you have another point up here you could use. I just picked 2 points. It doesn't matter which 2 you pick. And you're just going to start with the one furthest to the bottom, closest to the bottom. So that's this point. And you're going to rise and run. So we went up 2. And we are going over 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we went up, so it's positive. We went to the right, so it's positive. If you go down, it's negative. If you go to the left, it's negative. So keep those things in mind, because your graph on your test may not be a positive line, but this line is going up, so we know our slope has to be positive. Again, plug that in your calculator, because a lot of you will say that that is 2. That is not 2. Okay, when you plug that in your calculator, you got 0.5, and when you hit math, enter, that's a half. So our answer is 1 over 2. Okay, you see that? So if you're unsure, just plug it in your calculator. Okay. All right. At number 3, we're going to do what we did here, except for we have 4 points. So we're going to look at that change again. Your x values are going up by 3 each time. Your y values are going down by 2 each time, which makes it negative. So your slope is that change in y over change in x, which is -2 over 3. Again, plug it in your calculator. -2 divided by 3, that gives you a decimal. Hit math, enter. It gives you the same thing, so we know that that's the reduced answer. But plug it in and double check.